What's up, fam? Hope you are doing fantastic out there. Today, we are taking a look at another awesome Vanker lock offering from Vosteed. This is their latest. It is the Akita, and there's your information. This is the Delft blue aluminum handles. So, from what I can say is that it's just like a kind of a worn, almost a blue jean blue, if you want to call it that. Really cool coloration here. I really like the kind of the worn out, the kind of the battle worn, whatever you want to call it, looks here. Of course, you guys know I love the Vanker lock. And then, they updated this thing a little bit, so we'll talk about that here. But some specs on it. You're looking at just under a 3-inch blade, so 2.94 inches, 7.11 overall. Of course, your cutting edge is going to be probably half an inch less than that because of your finger toil there. And 4.1 ounces. So it is some fairly thick aluminum here. And of course, the Vanker lock, all of that does add a little bit of weight. Now, as far as your blade steel, you're looking at S35. They run that at 60 to 62. Price point, $140. And they do have 3 different variations that are currently available at the time of filming. At the time of uploading, I will make any changes if need be, but at this time, they do have the light blue version of this with the stonewash handle, the green with stonewash, and then the gray or raw aluminum with the satin blade. This version here is not currently available. Let's go ahead and jump into the close-ups here. So, again, there is your Vanker lock. T8 hardware, and this kind of has this kind of sunburst pattern to it. I really like the milling on this, and then you can see that distressed look on the blue anodizing. Gold barrel spacer there. That is the only gold pop on the entire knife. Take it or leave it. I honestly would rather that be black on this specific variant. So you do have your screws in there for the reversible pocket clip. Wouldn't be a terrible thing if they had a filler tab there, and but at this price point, I would kind of like to see that reversible pocket clip though. And then we do have those same screws here on this side. So again, I'm pretty sure I've seen somebody talk about this as well. It would be nice to have those screws be flush. So it's not really. I'm not sure why they were done like this, but having flush screws would definitely be a plus there. And then, having that filler tab over here would, again, be a plus side to finishing out the look on this knife. Yeah, I can understand it on a, on a cheaper knife, but when you're paying over $100 for a knife, it is nice to have those little features there. But honestly, that's kind of my only real gripe with the knife, and that is that's just nitpicking, quite honestly. Really nice blade hole opening there. You do have front flipper. Jimping on the knife is good. It's not great. It's not the best I've seen, but it is good and it is functional. Again, open pillar construction. Let's go ahead and flick this knife out. Detent is done very well. There you can see that really good plunge grind. I mean, just ridiculously good plunge grind. So congratulations on that. Great job. Choke up spot is fantastic. Sharpening looks to be... looks to be pretty good. We might be a little bit shallow here on the heel of the knife versus the other side. Tip looks to be okay. Trying to find a good focus spot for it. There we go. Yeah, tip's pretty good. Can't show lock up because the way this knife works. So if you're not familiar on how they work here, so there is your lock bar. So you can see that inside there moving in and out of the way. So it is a solid chunk of steel that moves into an actual cutout in the back of the blade. You can see the cutout here. So that's where your lock bar goes into. So your lock bar, as it swings around, clicks into there. And then your button here, the reason it's magnetic is to keep it from flopping around. So that's the only reason there's a magnet there. It doesn't have anything to do with lock bar tension or anything like that. That magnet is simply to stop this button from flopping around whenever the knife is in the closed position. And then when it's in the open position, that spring bar pushes that lock and button and everything over. It's a really nice design. If you guys would like, you can check out some of my other videos. I have posted full disassemblies of these knives. and showing how they work, but you can get a really good idea just by watching that right there. So really nicely done on this one. So I did do the unboxing, honestly, just today, and I talked about where, you know, a lot of times these knives with coatings need to break in a little bit, and that's all it took was just a day's worth of, you know, playing with the knife and having fun with it for the action to really smoothen out. So it does work. Of course, if you let go of the button, you know, the way these things work is they have a lot of lock bar tension on them, so they're not going to just drop shut with the button, you know, without the button depressed. So you do have to hold the button and let them drop shut. So just be aware of that. And that's with just about all of the Vanker lock models that I've messed with. They do have, again, you know, you have to have that button pushed in to get that drop shutty action. But then, you know, of course, I would rather have a good detent and then be able to, you know, just have to press the button and hold it in. So not a problem there, because these things do have a really great detent and really good lock bar pressure. Front flipper on this works great. Don't have any issues with it. You know, my thumb has problems sometimes, but I can do it with the thumb flick. But as far as for the rollover, it is phenomenal. Great job on that. And I mean, it comes open with authority. You guys can hear that. Really great job on that detent. Let's see how the thumb flick is. Can I thumb flick it? I can thumb flick it. Reverse flick is money on this thing. It is definitely meant for reverse flicking. The whole lineup is perfect. Again, that detent is perfect. I don't have any issues with that. You can slow roll it. Yeah, just really phenomenal knife as far as fidget factor is concerned. Handle feel, it is a squared off handle. It does have some decent chamfering on it, but it is slab sided. You do get some grip from the milling. The jimping, again, it's not the best, it's not the worst, but it does work. But as far as for it being just a squared off handle, it does still feel pretty good in the hand, thanks to that chamfering. And then when you are choked up, and that's really where this knife works the best, is choked up here. I do wish, it's kind of a double-edged sword, so it does feel great in the choke up spot here. But I hate losing half an inch of blade for a finger choil. This knife feels just fine here at this position, and I would much rather have that extra, you know, I don't know, it wouldn't be a half an inch, but an extra quarter inch or so of blade there, almost half an inch of blade. I would prefer to have that extra blade than to have the choke up spot on this specific knife. Some knives it doesn't you know, bother me as much. On this one, it does a little bit more, but you know, again, just personal preference, being nitpicky. I still think the knife looks phenomenal. I love the looks of this knife. I love the finish that it has. Love a good clip point blade. Definitely not my favorite, but I do enjoy a good clip point. Like it better than a standard drop point anyway. Ergonomics are great. Choked up position, I do not feel that pocket clip at all. You can go into a kind of a pinch grip. Of course, come in like this. Choked back. I feel the pocket clip a little bit, but just barely, and it's not hateful at all. So no problem with that at all. Let's go ahead and take a look at our hardware. It should be T8 hardware, with the exception of maybe one of the screws, or with the exception of the screws and the Vanker lock itself. So far, so good. And then our T6s here on this. So as well with these screws here, these are your pivot screws. So if you crank these down, that's going to seize up your action just like it would if you really crank down on a pivot. So you want to have these. This is how you tune the knife. So I haven't had to mess with it. It's tuned pretty well right out of the gate. So again, just with some fidgeting, it has started to really loosen up. And eventually I will take the knife apart, go through and clean up the bearings, do everything, because especially on a coated blade after it's been, you know, messed with a lot, you know, the coating can kind of not really foul up the bearings, but it can give you a little bit of drag on the bearings. So I'll go in and clean everything up after, you know, probably, you know, a week or two of ownership, and then just you know, go, like I said, go in and put my oil in it and make it really dial in the action. So, but again, as of filming this, these things are available in those other colorways. So jump on them. I will have it annotated, of course, and pictures of them, whatever is currently available at the time of uploading. But yeah, let me know what you guys think. As always, I appreciate each and every one of you. Please remember to be kind, be humble, and be EDC. Take care.